Hey guys, I've got a little bit of a two-part video today where I am going to combine, for some reason, I don't know why, my experience with scrubby yarn and some stash busting I did. Let's hop into this pretty quick. So, first experience with scrubby yarn. I received this from Kristen Crochets in our collab we did. I'll put up there if you haven't seen that. But I had never worked with scrubby yarn before, and some people love it and some people don't, and I think it was fantastic. She sent it to me because I probably wouldn't have, and it turns out I actually really liked it. So I will put a picture in here of the yarn that I did use with it, and then I started having to go through my cotton yarn scraps because I just didn't have, apparently I don't stock enough cotton yarn. So here is the picture of what I used. This was the weathered teal that I got during Hobby Lobby's annual clearance sale. I have some hauls of that. I can always link below or at the end or somewhere if you haven't seen those. But the first, what did I get here? I think I got 2.5 possibly out of one thing of the weathered teal. And I thought that that looked really good with the yarn colors that she gave me. I believe it was in a berry color. I will have it linked below for sure. And Kristen actually also sent me, it wasn't her pattern, but it was a link to a tutorial that she had used the most and really liked for scrubbies. So I thought, you know what, she bought the yarn. I'll use the tutorial she suggests, and it turned out really well. I am going to be making some of these for, I think I'm going to make like Christmas motif style ones, but then give them to my family members at Thanksgiving time so that they can have them out the whole Christmas season. So the yarn was soft. It did not tear up my hands like I kind of thought it might, but I really liked it. So this, I have some scrap burgundy yarn. They started looking less cohesive as I went on with my yarn scraps. I had some other cotton yarn. It was like a sugar and cream, I think. But again, I will keep these and I will use these myself in my kitchen. So it's fine that, that the cotton doesn't match. But I am going to make more, and I am definitely going to make sure they match because I had fun with this, and I will link the tutorial below. Let's get into some stash busting now. As you know, I have been trying to organize my yarn, and a major portion of that is using up all of these like small tidbits of yarn, deciding what's usable, actually parting with the stuff that isn't, but just using up in small projects some of the stuff that is. So first project that I made is this hat, and this would either, it's a little tight on me. I would say this would probably be more for an adolescent, but I might just have a big head. So I did double crochets in the crown, and then I just kind of did a mixture going down with some in the back loop, and just no real rhyme or reason to the pattern. I just wanted to give it a little more texture, and then I put a flower on it. So pretty simple. I thought it was a great way to use this up, and I like having just some smaller little things like this to have on hand to give out as gifts. I have absolutely no idea who is going to benefit from this next item, but I had received this yarn in that very strange mystery bag I opened from the thrift store, but it turned out the yarn was like super like soft and stretchy, and there was only a tiny tidbit of it, so I made a tiny little baby hat. I realized after I made this, my dog plays with tennis balls. It actually looked an awful lot like a tennis ball. So if you're a tennis enthusiast with a tiny baby, maybe this hat is for you. Or like if your baby does road construction and needs to be seen on the side of the road, possibly. So this may be a little project that never ever gets used, but you never know. It could totally be for the right person as well. So I just did, I believe I did half double crochets all the way down here, and then did some singles in the back loop there just to make the little brim on that. But it is awful cute. So yep, using up one more of my bright scraps of yarn. Next, I had enough of this blue left over. I had made a blanket for a friend with some homespun and some turquoise. I believe this is what this was the little bit of leftover from that. I think so. I'm pretty positive. If not, otherwise it was just a small scrap. But just made one of those headbands that I really like. And again, this would be more youth size than my size. So there is that thing I made. I had this small amount of this teal. And so I made like a child size little purse here. And I was inspired by, I've actually made a few of these lately, but I was inspired by Erica from It's Time for Yarn, who did a simple tutorial on how to do a solid granny square. So I made 2 of them and sewed them together on the outside. Actually, I stitched around it using a single crochet stitch, and then made the strap. And I just sewed those, whoops, couldn't see, sewed those in right there through the whole thing. So it just makes the opening on top a little bit smaller. But again, this is just more for fun, but like a child size. The reason it is child size is because I did not have enough yarn to make the strap any larger for an adult. So it would be up like awkwardly high for an adult. But I did have a little bit of this yarn left over. This, if I did the ombre blanket and the shells, and I had this tiny little small amount of the lightest color of that left. So I basically just made a little envelope out of half double crochets. You could put gum or anything else. I don't know, do little kids carry cash? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't when I was a little kid. I had gum. So I just made that, and I thought I can put that right inside this little bag right here. And I have a couple friends with like granddaughters and stuff, so I thought that would be kind of a fun use of some yarn right there. Now, these final 2 items were made out of some Bernat blanket, and a gal who comes into my office where I'm a receptionist, she had given me this yarn, and I think maybe had tried to make a project out of it, and it was not working because it was like half of the skein was like wrapped back around it. So but again, it was only one, and the label looked a little bit older. The yarn was in great condition. You know, of course, there was no like pet hair smells or anything. So it was totally usable, but I just figured it would be hard to find like matching, like even if I found the light blue, I didn't know, you know, if it would go. So I just wanted to use this up. So I made this cute little baby hat. And like it's out of blanket yarn, so definitely a winter baby, but it's got the little ear caps on there. I thought it was super cute. I don't know how practical this is. I did get asked to donate to a fundraiser in September. It's for spina bifida. And I did donate some coasters last year. I just like doing smaller things because I think sometimes for a donation, you know, people don't always know how much yarn costs or how much time you put into doing it. So, I mean, it's great for something like that if you want to put in a large project, but I guess at this point in time, I'm comfortable just kind of doing smaller little things. And while it may not raise as much in a silent auction, you know, it still contributes to it. And I did not spend a ton of time. So I wouldn't be heartbroken if, you know, it didn't go for a lot, but I think I will end up donating this. And if I can find a little bit more, I know I've got some gray maybe like a raspberry blanket yarn in my scraps. So that would be smart to use that up and maybe make, you know, a couple right there. But that was awful cute. And then I have one other thing with that blanket yarn. So my last item is I made a little cat bed for my daughter's cat out of this. So this was really easy. It did not take much time at all. It's got a little bit, I would call it like of a pod shape. So I made it so it's kind of hard to hold this up and have you see, but so like the edges come in a little bit so that when her cat like curls up, you know, so it's like a little more, yeah, just like a little more pod shaped, if that makes sense. So it was pretty easy. I did, I believe, double crochets here on the bottom and just increased the circle all the way out. And then on the side, I went to singles. And I did some at the top here on the back loop just to give it a little bit more texture. But this should be nice for him, my grand kitty. And hopefully he will find this snuggly, and she can either, you know, just take like one of those roller brushes to get any cat hair. But since it's blanket yarn, I would think that she should be able to pop this in the washer if she needs to as well. So I did use the whole skein for the cat bed and the little baby bear ear. So hopefully you like these stash busting ideas and my mini review of the Scrubby Stripes yarn. If you do, please stick around. I would love to talk more yarn with you. I will link multiple ways down in the description box where we can hang out and talk more yarn. Thanks, guys.